Hey friends, welcome back to Homestead on a Prayer. Today it's pretty cold out. We still have not had our first frost here in Connecticut, at least in my part of Connecticut, which is a little weird to me. Our normal first frost day is usually October 15th, usually by October 15th, so sometimes it's earlier than that. And today is October 20th at the time that I'm filming this. You guys will see it a little bit later than that. But it's October 20th today, and I'm seeing places all around the country, places in the South, already having frost. I've seen people in Arkansas, Texas, South Carolina, all over the place in the South having early frost. And here we are in Connecticut, you know, it's the middle of October. It's a few days past our last frost date. We haven't had a frost, and we don't even have a frost in the 10-day forecast. Now, it's been cold. We've gotten quite a few nights in the 30s, but they just haven't dipped down below freezing. But either way, I know that it's coming soon. And so what we're going to do today is we are going to harvest my sweet potatoes. Now, I don't have a big sweet potato crop that I'm growing. I just have 4 plants. And honestly, I have no idea what to expect. Sweet potatoes are not really known for growing well in cold New England where I live. And these are sweet potatoes that had not the ideal start in life. I just basically started them from a random grocery store sweet potato. So last spring at my kids' homeschool co-op, I taught a gardening class for kids. And one of the classes that we did was talking about alternative ways to propagate plants, basically starting plants or multiplying plants that don't use seeds. And so I brought in some sweet potatoes to use as an example. We basically, from those sweet potatoes, we propagated sweet potato slips, and then we made enough that every kid in the class got to take one home. But I had a bunch extra. Well, I had 4 extra. So I brought them home and planted them. I figured we grew them. Why not plant them and see what happens? So I have 4 plants that I grew. I have no idea what to expect. This harvest could be a complete bust, or maybe we'll be surprised with a great harvest. I'm guessing most likely it'll be somewhere in the middle, but I don't have super high expectations. So now behind me, I don't know if you can even really see it. In this pot back here, I have one of my sweet potato plants. It is not happy about the cold that we've been having. As I said, we haven't had a frost yet, but it's still been a little cold. Sweet potatoes do not like cold, so it's not happy. So I think it's time to harvest it. I have no idea what variety they are. I have no idea the days to maturity. I have no idea what region of the country they prefer to grow in. I have no idea. Probably not Connecticut though. But either way, we're going to harvest them and we're going to see what we get. And I don't know if this is going to be a fail or success video. I have no idea, but we're going to find out together. All right, so hopefully you guys will be able to hear me okay. It's kind of windy out here, but I think it's supposed to be windy all day. So I wanted to get this done before it gets too cold. Yeah, there's the wind again. Anyway, I have 1 sweet potato plant in this pot and a lot of weeds, as you can tell. As the season went on, I kind of neglected weeding this pot. Now you can see in this pot here, all these really long vines. These were the sweet potato plant. Originally it did look nice and lush and healthy. As the season went on and it started to get cold, you know, it's kind of starting to die down now. It hasn't actually been killed by frost, but it's not very happy. These other plants here are all weeds. So there's only 1 sweet potato plant in this little pot here. You can see I just stuck it in a little pot that I happen to have. As I said, I wasn't planning on growing these, so we just kind of made do with what we had. So I'm going to harvest this one, I'm just gonna dump it in this wheelbarrow behind me and just kind of dig through the dirt and see what we get for sweet potatoes. I should say, if we get any sweet potatoes, we'll see what we can find. So if I'd been planning ahead here, I would have turned this wheelbarrow upside down a couple days ago. We had rain a couple days ago and it kind of got quite a bit of water in the bottom of the wheelbarrow. So I dumped out what I could. We're gonna have a little bit of wet dirt to work through though, but that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and dump this in here and see what we've got to work with. Okay, I'm finding, so that's small, but it's something. Let's see what else we can find. All right, so we've got quite a few. They're on the small side. I think if we had a little bit longer growing season, these probably would have done better. But this is still, honestly, this is better than I expected from this plant, especially without knowing the variety. So that's what I found from this one plant. I'm gonna dig around a little more, see if I can find something else. All right, so from the one plant, we got these 7 sweet potatoes. Now, granted, they are very small. Some of them are smaller than others. I mean, I've got this little guy here. I'm not really sure what we'll do with that. But I gotta say, for having just randomly had a plant thrown in the ground, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. So here over there, you can see that's my other sweet potato pot. If we kind of pan down here, you can see that it hangs down pretty far. You can also see that it's pretty wilty. It's not a big fan of the cold. All right, now this kind of ridiculous looking mess in here, this is my other sweet potato pot. You can see we were not any more, or I should say you can see I was not any more disciplined about weeding this than I was about weeding the other one. But we're gonna dig through and see if we got any results anyway. All right, so I'm gonna start just by kind of ripping all these extra weeds out of here. All right, so this already looks a lot better. You can see these big stems that are left here. Those are actually the sweet potato vines. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those up and then we'll dig around and see what we get. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at that, that is a full-size sweet potato. I've got a couple other little stragglers on here. I mean, this guy's tiny. This one would definitely benefit from a longer growing season. But we have one actually really big one. Just gonna go ahead and put this in the bowl here and we'll see what else we get. Look at this. This was from that same plant. Plus we got a little skinny one, but that's impressive. Respectable, tiny. All right, let's pull up the other two and see what we got. All right, last one. So I gotta say, I'm really pleasantly surprised. I actually thought this was gonna be kind of a funny fail video. And I mean, this isn't a huge harvest, but for what I planted and what I was expecting, I'm actually really pleasantly surprised with this. Now, some of these, like this little one, I mean, I don't know what you even do with a potato like that. If anyone has suggestions, I don't know if I can save this one and maybe use it to grow slips, to grow potatoes, or to grow sweet potatoes again next year. Let me know your suggestions for the tiny ones. But we got, I mean, we probably got half a dozen actually decent sized ones. I'm gonna dig around in the dirt and just see if there's anything that I missed. We'll see if we've got any more to add to this bowl. All right, looks like we probably got them all. I'm not sure how deep they normally go, but I'm not really finding anything digging down deeper. So unless they go really, really deep, I think we probably got them all. So I'd say that's not a bad harvest for having not really put any effort into it and not really planning to grow these. Didn't cost me anything because I bought the sweet potatoes for a class and I just happened to have extra slips, so I planted them for myself to see what would happen. So I'm gonna say I definitely got back more than I put into it. Now this is actually encouraging to me. I've always been hesitant about growing sweet potatoes because I live in cold New England and you know, sweet potatoes are famous for liking the South. They like the heat, they like the sunshine, they like the long hot summer, which we do not have here. Maybe next year this will encourage me to actually try growing sweet potatoes a little more seriously. Maybe I'll plant more than just a couple plants and actually really try, and we'll see what we can get if we do that. So either way, thank you guys for joining me today on one of these last few garden days before we get the first frost. I'm glad that I got these harvested before the frost, and I hope to see you guys again soon. I hope that you had an amazing and abundant garden harvest season, and I hope that you're ready for the cooler months and a little bit of relaxation. All right, bye guys. I'll see you next time.